Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. Words hold a lot of power. They are very important. That is why it's important to pay attention to what words people around us are using to describe us and what words we are using to describe ourselves. Because sooner or later, subconsciously, unconsciously, we start living up to those words. They become a part of our identity. So, if there are areas in life that you're struggling, if there are things that you're dealing with, be it physically, be it socially, emotionally, psychologically, or wherever, it is very important to pay attention what kind of words do you feel about yourself when you encounter a bad situation. What are the words that you label yourself with? Because that will give you a very good idea what kind of person you're trying to be in that moment. And that is the first step, because what happens, we don't realize this. We are given these words either when we are growing up, or by the people close to us, or sometimes close friends, or at work, and we don't really pay that much of attention. But if constantly somebody keeps ringing and reiterating those words and saying it again and again to describe us, sooner or later we end up living a life having stories that make those definitions or make those words become our reality, become our truth. So, as long as somebody is saying nice things about us, that we are kind, we are affectionate, we are loving, we are generous, we have a lot of potential, we are high achievers, or whatever it is, it's fine. It is only when people start putting negative connotations like lazy, heartless, miserly. Now, mind you, often people who actually care about you, people who value you, will try their best not to hurt you by saying the negative words. It is people who are somewhere jealous of you, people who feel insecure in your presence will try to dim your light by using those words. Now, there is another side to this. If you have people in your life who believe in you, okay, who think you can do great things, who have your back, so to speak, if you do something that really disappoints them, or if you do something that's really not in your character, of course they are going to come back and say maybe something that might be hurtful, or maybe say things like you're a disappointment, or how could you do this and you let me down, and things and labels like that. But probably it's just in the moment. So now at least 90 to 95% of the times they need to be telling you, oh, you're great, you're amazing, you're spectacular, I believe in you. Then them coming across occasionally being upset with you and mentioning it is different. But on the other hand, if there are people who do not give you any positive reinforcement, or it's very minute and it's not genuine and it's not sincere, and rather just try their best to sneak in these words, and they are very sinister, because trust me, words matter. And this is something that you really need to pay attention to realize that most of the time negative labeling, these negative words will come from people who are terribly insecure of you, who just don't want you to do well, and this is their subconscious way of pulling you down, of making sure that sooner or later you catch on those labels and you end up self-sabotaging. And just to give you an example, I know someone, she's successful, she has an extremely nice job, she's good at her work, she's got like her colleagues respect her and everything, and yet someone very close to her in her family of origin has labeled her as somebody who doesn't understand money. And mind you, she's made more money than almost all her family put together. And this is, I know as a fact that this is a deliberate attempt to malign her image as somebody who is dumb. Yes, that's another word that was used for her. Dumb, and somebody who is useless and who just doesn't know money. And the same person is actually an extremely well paid professional. They have more money and they have made more money than the entire family combined together. And the saddest part is that they spent a whole lot on their family also. And despite that, all they got was the negative labeling. And the people who labeled them, I am familiar with, they themselves are very insecure people. They neither do they hold a job, neither have they ever earned anything, and yet they claim, and they have mismanaged funds, whatever was in their control, and yet they claim to be excellent with money. So there you go. Because it is very rare, and I'm actually yet to come across, okay, that if someone is doing better than you, if someone is way better than you and they have a lot of things going well in their life, they're working on things, they don't have the time to label other people. They just don't have the energy. They may not like you, but they just don't have the energy. It's the people who don't want to do anything about their life, who don't want to change who they are, and when they see someone doing well, who has potential, they will start putting those labels, they will start using words to dim their light, so as to speak. So if you feel a lot of discomfort around certain people, it could be family, it could be friends, it could be colleagues, whoever in your social circle. If you feel upset about some of the words that people use to describe you, if you feel it as being unfair, then in that moment, pause. First try and remember the word, and also take a look at the person very closely, without replying, without retaliating. Trust me, you will start to understand. The things start falling into place. Either they will get the cue, okay, and they will stop using the words, but if they continue to use, you know what to do. The best thing to do in this case is distance yourself, try and not share a lot of private things with them, try not to be vulnerable with them around, and that's the first step. Rest of it is up to you, depending on how important and how close the relationship is, whether or not you choose to keep it. But again, words, they are very, very powerful. So when people start using negative words, disrespectful words, words that don't do you justice, then it just goes on to show that perhaps they don't value you, or perhaps they don't want to see you doing so well. And on the other vein, if you want to change your life, if you want to become somebody else, you have to change the words you use to describe yourself. You have to change the words that you are attached to, that you are subconsciously living up to. Something interesting to think about today. And thank you very much for taking the time and watching the video, and I'll see you soon.